Okay, so now we're going to be using, we're going to start using this Mongo DV. So you have two ways of using MongoDB. One, it's using the actual driver of MongoDB, and the other one, it's using something that's called Mongoose. They are really, really different. And let me tell you, after we finish, you're going to be using Mongoose. Mongoose is by far much, much better than the MongoDB driver. The MongoDB driver is something, it's to do simple stuff. The Mongoose, it's much better. Okay. So first, we're going to use the Mongo driver, the default one. And once we know how to use that one, using Mongoose is going to be really simple. Okay, so first, to use it, we need a place where we can use it. So go to your computer, just create a directory, navigate to that one on the path. You need to go to that directory, and you need to remember that we need to have this server, the MongoD, running. So you need to execute whatever path, whatever command you have to do, depending, of course, if you're Mac or Windows. We did it a couple sections ago. Okay, so first to use the MongoDB driver, we need to install it. But before we can install it, we need a package.json. So okay, so I'm gonna do clear again. I'm gonna do npm init, just like that. Press enter. It's gonna ask me a bunch of stuff. I don't really care right now. Gonna keep pressing enter, and yes, okay. We're gonna do clear. So we have our package.json. So now we need to install the driver. So let me make this a little bit bigger. You're gonna do npm install, and it's gonna be called MongoDB. Now we're gonna install a very specific version. It's gonna be the 2.2.31, and then minus save. There's a new version, but it's really new. So I'm gonna do clear, and I'm gonna close it. Okay. So now we have pretty much everything. The only thing we don't need, it's a starting point. So I'm gonna create a new file, which is gonna be, of course, server.js. And on the server.js, we're gonna perform operations to store things on the database and everything else. Okay. So the first thing is gonna be connecting to this MongoDB. So we're gonna say const, and then I'm gonna open and close. So we're gonna use destructuring. I'm going to bring the Mongo client. Let me make this a little bit better. Okay, that's good. And this one is going to be equal to require, and then we bring it from Mongo DB. Right. Okay. So how do we connect? Okay, so first we're going to use this Mongo client. Then dot, and we use connect. Open and close is a method. So this connect takes a few arguments. The first one is going to be the URL. So I'm going to say URL. Now, this URL is going to be whatever instance of this server, this MongoD server, you're using in your computer. So first, I'm going to go at the top. I'm going to say const and then URL. Now, the URL is going to be always the same for your computer. It's going to be MongoDB : / so this is going to be kind of the HTTP or HTTPS. Then we do localhost, it's your computer, and if you remember the port, it was 27017. And I'm gonna create one that is going to be called test. So whenever we perform operations to put data or whatever, it's going to create this database for us if it's not there, which right now it's not there. Everything is empty. Okay. So now the first thing is going to be the URL. It's ready. So the second thing is going to be the callback, just like any other operation. So I'm going to open and close and then run a function. This callback takes an error and a DB. All right, we're going to learn about this DB in a minute. So everything is kind of ready. So how do we check if it's connecting to the database? So, okay, I'm going to put a conditional. I'm going to say if, just like this, if error, open and close, and if it's not, we're going to do something else. So with this, when we use this connect, we are already connecting to this database. So if we get an error right here, we could return something, and it's going to, return something, and everything else, it's going to be skipped. But for now, We're not going to do that. I'm just going to say console log and then, connect, whatever. Now, if the connection is successful, we're going to do console log something else, connected, and then exclamation mark. All right. So I'm going to save it. I'm going to go back to the terminal and I'm going to do node and then server.js. I'm not going to use node 1 right now. So I'm going to press enter and we get connected. That's good. So everything it's good. It's good. It's working. It's connecting to this database, to the server. So everything is good. Okay. And if you go to RoboMongo or RoboT, if you refresh, nothing is going to happen because we are not really inserting anything. Now, every time you make a connection, at least with this version, the version we installed, you need to use a close. You need to close this connection manually. The new version, it's actually it's going to do it for you. You need to skip that. But again, we're using this version because it's the most stable one. So right here, we're going to close the connection, we do dv dot, and we use a method inside dv, which is going to be close. And this is going to close the connection, right? Okay. If I run it again, I'm going to do clear and then node server. Notice that this time it's not frozen there. It's taking me back to the actual terminal. So we say connected and then back to the terminal, right? Okay, so that's good. It's connecting. So the next thing for us is going to be inserting data. So let's see how to add data to the actual database. Okay, so how to insert data. We kind of did it from the terminal a few minutes ago, but we're going to do it from here, of course. I'm going to comment this. We are not going to really use it. I'm going to go right here at the bottom, and we pretty much do the same thing. We do Mongo client, then dot, then connect, open and close, and we pass a URL, and then of course we run the callback. The callback, for now, it's always using the same thing, error and db. So first, what we want to do, we want to add some JSON data to a collection right here. So right now, we don't have that collection. We are using the test database. So it's going to create a test, and inside it's going to create a collection, and inside that collection is going to be adding a document. I know that it doesn't make sense, but we're going to see it right now in a minute. So inside the connect, first, we need to make a reference to the DB. Right here to this DB, okay? So then what we do is collection, and for collection we need to pass a name. I want to add cars, so I'm gonna put cars. Good. Now to insert one JSON, you have a method called insert one, just like this, and then you open and close. And what you need to pass inside is going to be an object with the data you want to add. This is the first argument of this insert one. I'm going to say model, and then I'm going to create a Ford, and I'm going to be adding an year of, I don't know, 2017. Makes sense? Okay. So I'm going to close the connection just like we did before, dv.close, and I'm going to save it. All right. So now I'm going to go to the terminal, and I'm going to do node server.js. I'm going to run it. Nothing is going to happen, but if we go to RoboT and refresh, we have the test, which is the database we are creating right here. We are connecting, and inside the database you have collections, and inside collections you have one called cars. Remember, you're connecting to a collection called cars. If you don't have it already, it's going to create it for you. And then we insert one document, and the name for this one is going to be document. If we go to cars right here, we have only one document. And if we open it, we have an ID, we have a model, and we have an year. We're going to be talking about this in a minute. So everything looks good, right? Okay. We are just adding appending data. Good. Okay. So most of the times when you insert some JSON data or whatever data, you want a response back. You want a callback, something that says that everything went okay, or maybe something went wrong. So the second argument for this insert one is going to be the actual callback. So I'm going to do comma, open and close, right? Okay, sorry, not open and close. It's a function. It's just a callback. So this callback contains an error and a response, right? Just like before. You're going to say error, comma, and then response, whatever. Inside of this, we're going to say if open and close. Now, just like we did before, if we got an error from this operation, we want to return, and we do console log, something went wrong, or maybe cannot, let's do this, cannot insert, and we're going to do open and close, and I'm going to pass whatever we get as an error back. So we're going to see the actual error. Of course, it's going to work, so you're not going to really see it. We're going to go to the next stage. So to output the information, we just, the confirmation, everything, it's inside response. So I'm going to do console log and then response, and we're going to inspect this. Okay, I'm going to save it. I'm going to run it again, node server, and this is what we get inside the response. So, it's a big object with a lot of things. You have the buffer, you have a lot of information for just simple data. But at the top, you get this result N1 and OK1. So this means that everything went okay. So everything, it's okay. Now, right here inside the response, you have access to OPS. Let me save it and let me run the application again. Let me do clear first. I'm going to do node server.js. And there we go. Inside OPS, you get the information you just inserted, right? Really cool. Really cool. Now, the weird thing is this ID. Now, by default, whenever you insert some new document inside the MongoDB, let me just open this and show you again. Cars. Now we have 3, of course. Whenever you insert a new document, you get an ID by default, and this is something that MongoDB it's doing for us. Now this object ID is just the timestamp. Of course, you can get it. I'm gonna go right here at the bottom, and from the response and the OPS, I'm gonna enter a new document with this data. I'm gonna enter the first one, which is going to be the ID. In this case, not really, but this is going to be the ID. All right. It's going to be this object right here. So I'm going to enter that one. I'm going to do dot. I'm going to enter the underscore ID. If you check it, oh, sorry, it's underscore. Sorry for that. And then dot, and I'm going to use get just like this, and then time, and then stamp, just like this, open and close. So this one is going to bring the ID of whatever we just inserted and, just get the time from this. So I'm going to save it. I'm going to run it again. And, we get this the timestamp. So again, this is just the timestamp. And of course, if you want, you can modify this. So whenever you insert something, you make a reference to this underscore ID and you can pass whatever you want. Doesn't really matter. So I'm going to change it back to oops. I'm going to insert a new one, node server.js, and as a result, it's entering the ID and then 73. Let me just refresh it. And right here, as an ID, you get 73. Now, as an advice, you shouldn't be entering the ID manually. You should let MongoDB administer everything inside here. Okay, that's good. So now we know how to insert a single data. So how to add multiple data. Let's see it right now.